Everyone wants big biceps. Nobody talks about forearms. They're the forgotten middle child of arm day. But here's the part that should actually embarrass you. Look down at your wrist right now. Go ahead, actually look, because your forearms control everything from your wrists all the way up to your elbows and shoulders. Weak forearms mean a weak grip, weak pulls, and arms that look like matchsticks from the wrist down. And the worst part, you probably had no idea. We're talking the difference between a guy who can't open a jar and a guy whose forearms walk into the gym and the weights start warming up on their own. You don't need forearms like that. But you also can't keep walking around with matchsticks attached to your elbows, because the rest of us actually have to train them, and most people are doing it completely wrong. 1. Forearm anatomy. Most people think the forearm is just one muscle. It's not even close. Your forearm is made up of around 20 different muscles, all packed into that one section between your wrist and your elbow. That's more muscles than most people have in their entire thigh. These muscles are divided into two sides. The front of your forearm controls the movements that close your hand, making a fist, pulling, curling your wrist inward. The back of your forearm controls the opposite, opening your hand, pushing and curling your wrist outward. And here is something most people never think about. Your wrist moves in 3 directions, up and down, like nodding your head, side to side, like shaking your head, and a full twist, like turning a door handle. Think of your hand like a joystick. Every direction it moves, up, down, left, right, twist. That is your forearm controlling it, not your wrist. Your wrist is just along for the ride. Here's the part that's almost never talked about. Most people, even serious gym goers, only train one side. They do curls, rows, pull-ups, all pulling movements that work the front side of the forearm. The back side stays weak and underdeveloped, and that imbalance is where the real trouble begins. 2. Silent strain. Here's something most people don't know. You don't have to play tennis to get tennis elbow. Most people who develop it have never picked up a racket in their life. Tennis elbow is when the tendons on the outside of your elbow get overloaded and inflamed, causing pain that makes it hard to shake hands, lift a coffee mug, or even type. The real cause? Weak extensor muscles. The ones on the back of your forearm that almost nobody trains. When they can't handle the load, the tendon takes the hit instead and slowly breaks down. Studies show it affects 1 to 3% of the population every year. Millions of people, most of whom could have prevented it with a few simple exercises they never thought to include. 3. The nerve. You've felt the ulnar nerve before. It's what fires when you bump your elbow and get that electric zap down to your fingers. People call it the funny bone, but there's nothing funny about what happens when it gets compressed. This nerve passes through a narrow passage at the inside of your elbow called the cubital tunnel. When forearm muscles are tight or imbalanced, that tunnel narrows and squeezes the nerve, causing tingling in the ring and pinky fingers, hand weakness, and in serious cases, loss of fine motor control. Things like buttoning a shirt or holding a pen. Weak forearms put this nerve at risk. When the muscles don't support the joint, the nerve pays the price. 4. Your wrist. Here's something most people get wrong. When your wrist hurts, the wrist isn't always the problem. The wrist is held together by 8 small bones and a web of ligaments, but it has almost no muscles of its own. It doesn't move itself. It's pulled entirely by tendons running down from your forearm. Your forearm is the engine. Your wrist is just the wheel. So when those forearm muscles are weak, the wrist becomes unstable, leading to strain, ligament stress, and chronic pain that people blame on weak wrists, when the real problem is sitting a few inches up the arm. 5. Longevity secret. Here's something strength coaches know that most gym beginners don't. One of the best indicators of how long you'll live is your hand and forearm strength. A massive study published in The Lancet, one of the world's most respected medical journals, tracked over 140,000 people across 17 countries. It found that lower grip and forearm strength was linked to a higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and early death. Not slightly linked, significantly linked. Grip strength turned out to be a better predictor of cardiovascular death than blood pressure. Why? Because forearm and grip strength reflect the overall health of your muscles, your nervous system, and your cardiovascular fitness all at once. It's a window into how well your whole body is functioning. Strong forearms aren't just about lifting more, they're a signal that your body is in good working order. What you should actually be doing. So what does smart forearm training look like? Start with the basics that most people skip. Wrist extensions, where you curl your wrist upward against resistance. Target the neglected backside of the forearm. Reverse curls train both the back of the forearm and the brachioradialis, a muscle that runs along the outer edge of your forearm and helps stabilize the elbow. Farmer's carries, simply walking while holding heavy weights at your sides, build forearm endurance and grip that translate into every other exercise you do. And if you already have wrist or elbow discomfort, simple flexibility work, gently stretching both sides of the forearm for 30 seconds after every workout can reduce tightness and lower your injury risk significantly. Your forearms are not a vanity muscle. They're not just for looking veiny in a short-sleeved shirt. They are the foundation of your entire upper body function. They protect your wrists, stabilize your elbows, keep your nerves healthy, and according to science, even tell a story about how long you're going to live. So the next time you're about to skip forearm work because you think your grip is already fine, remember this video. Start training the side nobody trains. Fix the imbalance before it becomes an injury. And build forearms that don't just look strong but actually are. Drop a comment if this changed how you think about training. Subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay strong.